Saint Teresa of Calcutta, a life defined by service, suffering, and scrutiny. Mother Teresa, born Anjezë Gonxha Bojaxhiu, remains one of the most recognizable and transformative figures of the 20th century. Her small stature, wrinkled face, and simple blue and white sari became globally synonymous with selfless devotion to the poorest and most abandoned people on earth. Yet, the story of the woman who would become a Catholic saint is far more complex than the icon, marked by a hidden spiritual desolation and significant, enduring controversy. Part 1, The Making of a Missionary, 1910 to 1946. Childhood and Early Vocation. Anjezë Gonxha Bojaxhiu was born on August 26, 1910, in Skopje, then part of the Ottoman Empire, now the capital of North Macedonia. Her family was of Albanian descent, and her father, a successful merchant involved in local politics, died when she was just 8. Her mother, Drain, a devout and compassionate woman, raised Anjezë and her 2 siblings, instilling in her a deep sense of faith and charity. By the age of 12, Anjezë felt a strong calling to religious life, specifically to work as a missionary. At 18, she left home, never to see her mother or sister again, to join the Sisters of Loreto in Ireland. It was here she received the name Sister Mary Teresa, after Saint Teresa of Lisieux, the patron saint of missionaries. After a brief novitiate, she departed for India, arriving in Calcutta in 1929. A life behind convent walls. From 1931 to 1948, Sister Teresa taught history and geography at St. Mary's High School for Bengali girls in the comfortable Loreto Convent in Antoli, eastern Calcutta. She took her final vows in 1937, adopting the title Mother Teresa as was the custom for nuns who had made their final profession. She learned to speak both Bengali and Hindi and eventually became the school's principal in 1944. Though she enjoyed teaching, she became increasingly disturbed by the agonizing poverty she witnessed just outside the convent's walls. The devastating Bengal famine of 1943 and the violence of the 1946 Direct Action Day riots plunged the city into crisis, deepening her internal conflict between her comfortable life and the suffering around her. The call within a call. The moment that irrevocably changed her life occurred on September 10, 1946, while traveling by train from Calcutta to Darjeeling for her annual retreat. She later described this as a call within a call, a profound, mystical experience where she felt the voice of Jesus, abandoned and in pain on the cross, asking her to serve the poorest of the poor by living among them. The vision was clear. He asked her to start a new religious community dedicated to serving him in the unwanted, the unloved, the uncared for. This was a command to leave the relative security of the convent and embrace the radical poverty of the slum dwellers. Part 2, The Birth of the Mission, 1948-1970s. The blue-bordered sari. After nearly 2 years of seeking permission, Mother Teresa received authorization from the Holy See in 1948 to leave the cloistered order. She shed her traditional Loreto habit for a simple, rough white cotton sari with a blue border, the uniform she chose to signify her new life of poverty and to identify with the women of India. She took Indian citizenship, received brief medical training, and ventured into the Calcutta slums with nothing but 5 rupees, a rosary, and an extraordinary conviction. The Missionaries of Charity. Joined by a few of her former students, Mother Teresa founded the Missionaries of Charity in 1950. The order's 4th vow, in addition to the traditional poverty, chastity, and obedience, is to give wholehearted free service to the poorest of the poor. The early days were marked by immense struggle, but the sisters began to establish services that addressed the most acute human suffering. Nirmal Hriday, established in 1952, this was the famous home for the dying destitutes, where people, often found on the streets, could die with dignity and attention. Shirshu Bhavan, a home for orphaned, abandoned, and disabled children. Shandinagar, a leprosy colony that provided medical care and community for those suffering from the disease. International expansion. From the 1960s onward, the Missionaries of Charity expanded rapidly beyond India, with centers opening across the world. The Order's work was featured in the 1969 film documentary Something Beautiful for God and the subsequent book by British journalist Malcolm Muggeridge, launching Mother Teresa onto the world stage as a living saint. Part 3: Spiritual Darkness and Global Recognition. The Nobel Peace Prize and Global Platform. Mother Teresa's fame peaked in 1979 when she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Characteristically, she refused the traditional celebratory banquet, asking that the money be donated to the poor, stating, "I believe the greatest destroyer of peace today is abortion, because it is a direct war, a direct killing, a direct murder by the mother herself." Her unyielding conservatism on matters of sexual ethics and abortion became an integral part of her public persona and a central point of future criticism. She used her global platform to travel tirelessly, opening hospices, children's homes, and centers for AIDS patients across nearly every continent, often in the world's most impoverished and war-torn areas. The Hidden Agony, a Dark Night of the Soul. The most stunning revelation about Mother Teresa's life came a decade after her death with the publication of her private letters in the book Come Be My Light, 2007. These letters revealed that, for nearly 50 years, from just after she began her mission until her death, she suffered from a profound and agonizing spiritual crisis. Following her initial mystical call, she experienced what Catholic theologians call a dark night of the soul. In her private writings to confessors, she described an intense sense of separation from God, of an internal void, writing, "The place of God in my soul is blank. There is no God in me. When the pain of longing is so great, I just long and long for God, and then comes the terrible feeling of being unwanted by God." She felt a profound loneliness and even considered herself a hypocrite for preaching a God whose tangible presence she could not feel. The fact that she continued her grueling, joyful work for the poor for 5 decades while enduring this inner turmoil became, for many, the ultimate proof of her heroic faith and sanctity. Mother Teresa's life was a testament to a faith that moved mountains, fueled by a relentless desire to embody Christian compassion. Her legacy is one of the 20th century's greatest dichotomies, a public image of unwavering, joyful faith juxtaposed with decades of private spiritual torment, and a global movement of charity overshadowed by questions of medical efficacy and theological priorities. She was, and remains, a global figure whose immense impact compels the world to look beyond the myth and confront the harsh realities of service, sacrifice, and the search for God in the deepest darkness.